like a Hellcat.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another YouTube videos, and today we will be reacting to 10 creepy ghost sightings caught on camera. And before we start this video, make sure first to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell if you haven't, of course. So let's go.
Chills. Number 10, Ghost Jail. A YouTuber named Junked Up Kitten and his friends are exploring an old county jail. They take a video camera with them so that they can make a parody of the Ghost Hunters television series. Little did the small group know that on this night they would accidentally capture actual evidence of real ghosts. Junked Up Kitten wanders around the property with the camera close to his face while narrating. He passes by an ordinary looking jail cell window and doesn't think much of it at the time. When he goes back to review the footage later, he makes a startling discovery in the window. It looks like his parody show has turned out to be the real thing. From the other side of the glass, the colorless reflection of a man's face stares at him. You can clearly see the outline of the ghost's brow, nose, and empty eyes. His head is cocked to the right, almost as if he is sizing up a newcomer. His mouth appears to be a thin, expressionless line. If anything, the ghost has incredible timing. Right when Junked Up Kitten says that he is looking for evidence of ghosts, one just happens to show up in the window. It's almost as if the ghost was trying to make its presence known. Perhaps it was even trying to get a hold of someone who could free it from its miserable cell. Number 9, Restaurant Spooks. Most people think of houses, hospitals, ghost sightings, but some of the most unsuspecting of places can turn out to be the most haunted. This footage was taken in a popular food joint during broad daylight. A shadowy ghost suddenly materializes in a Subway restaurant. It starts out in the shape of a human and almost appears to be getting a table. When it gets back to its seat, the black shadow suddenly changes into a floating black blob of an orb. At this point, an employee, or maybe a customer, appears to see the ghost in the doorway. Whoever they are, they look stunned for a second and then quickly back away. The shadow orb pays no attention to the human as it floats up to the window and lingers there. It's almost as if it's taking a look at the outside world. The ghost starts to rise even higher and shrinks until it fully disappears back to wherever it came from. Number 8, the Ghost Stadium. Ghosts don't have to wait until nighttime before they can begin to haunt. As this Brazilian soccer footage shows, the crowd is happily cheering on their favorite team when suddenly a shadow ghost starts sprinting through all of them. Look closely and you'll notice how nobody tries to move out of the way. Even though a person is clearly running full speed at them, not a single person tries to pull their legs in or even bothers to look up. They are so concentrated on the game that they do not see, feel, or hear the ghost as it runs directly through the half-filled stadium in a straight line. Number 7, Fridge Ghost. A YouTuber named No Ghost Hunter grows tired of living in a haunted home and decides to videotape the disturbances for evidence. It's a little past midnight when he hears scratching noises, which soon progresses into running footsteps and loud bangs. These noises appear to be coming from all different areas of the home at once. The next day, his HD TV literally begins rocking violently from side to side all by itself. The rocking motion picks up speed until the corners of the TV are almost hitting the entertainment center, and it looks like the base is going to break. Then the TV starts rocking back and forth the other way. There is nobody behind the television, and there's no way they could have been using strings to do this. The day after, No Ghost Hunter finds a short video on his phone that he is 100% sure he did not make. The video is shot from the ground level of his kitchen. When you look at the reflection in the oven, you can see that nobody is holding the phone. The phone is literally floating in midair. Additional footage shows the TV shaking by itself again. This time, No Ghost Hunter is able to film behind the television to show that this is not a prank at all. He waves his hand above the television to show that there's no wires, and he even films underneath the base to show that there is no rod coming out from the entertainment center.
I mean, to be honest, I don't even think this is edited,
multiple times while he films. A few days later, he captures his refrigerator door slamming open and closed again and again. The brazen poltergeist leaves the door open to make sure its presence is fully known. Number 6, Watch from Above. A group of British friends are playing catch in a courtyard when one of them sees something strange and points it out to the others. The camera follows his gaze and stops on a pale face looking at them from high above. The sickly person looks at them for a second longer before silently slipping out of view. The group is now creeped out and wants to know who has been spying on them this whole time. They tell the property manager about the face they saw at the window, but she says that it's impossible. The room they are talking about has been locked and unoccupied for quite some time.
yeah.
The manager goes up
No
with them to
way.
unlock the door and
No
show
way.
them around. They try and find the person, but the place is completely empty. There's no way anyone could have been up there, yet the camera obviously says differently. The mysterious peeper has never been
But how
identified.
did they even
Number 5,
explain that?
Old Pete's Ghost.
There's even
There's a
no one
famous pub in
in the
Sydney,
room.
Australia, called the Carlisle Castle Hotel. For years, this local watering hole has been haunted by the ghost of Old Pete, a bitter ex-employee who left the earth quite some time ago, but not his job. His ghostly antics have
To
been
be
caught on
honest, if
camera
this
no
is my
less than
job
3
and I feel like
times.
there's like
The first time
something
Pete was caught
paranormal,
on tape,
so
he
yeah.
was helping a customer. The unsuspecting man opens the door to the cooler when Pete decides to grab 2 bottles of red wine for himself. His ghost grip must have not been too tight though, because both bottles go crashing to the floor. Looking at the footage, there's no way that the shelf gave out or anything like
Yes,
that.
like, no
the
one's
bottles
even
were thrown to the
touching the
ground with
shelf.
deliberate force with no one nearby.
Like, explain
Another
that.
incident occurred when the bar was full of witnesses. Everyone is happily enjoying themselves when a hanging red wine glass suddenly dislodges itself and smashes into the counter. Glass shards
Oh.
fly everywhere and the entire bar takes
What
notice.
the-
Although this could have simply been a freak accident, what are the chances
No,
that,
I
of
don't
all the
even
red
think
wine
that is an
glasses, the one that's
accident.
directly underneath the server happens to be the one to fall and break? The timing is almost too perfect to be a coincidence. Old Pete
Yeah, I
strikes
don't
again.
even
The third
think
and
it
final
is.
tape reveals a glimpse of Old Pete himself. The bar is empty this time when the angry ghost suddenly materializes in front of the security camera. If you look closely, you can make out Old Pete's head at the bottom of the screen. He appears to be waving. Many other bartenders and
Oh my God,
customers
I don't-
all claim to have seen Old
It
Pete
feels
for
like
themselves
a
in one way or
cat
another.
tail, guys.
It isn't uncommon
But I'm
for
not
tastes
sure
to
if
turn on
that
by
is, but
themselves,
it's
and
like
the bartenders have seen what they can only describe as
hands,
strange things while
like a
counting down their
finger,
registers after
like touching
close. To
cameras,
make this
you
all
know.
even
I mean, to
stranger,
this, I don't
all of the
even know
bottles
what
that go
is
crashing
this.
to the floor
It's
are
like
always high-end red
unexplainable,
wines.
guys.
This just so
So
happened to
comment
be
down
Old
below,
Pete's
guys,
favorite
what do you
drink,
think that was,
at least
you know?
when he was still with the living. Number 4,
Number
the
4,
church
let's go number
disturbance.
4.
Steve and Jake are wandering around the woods one summer night with a single goal in mind. They want to explore an abandoned local chapel that's rumored to be haunted. As they approach, they see that someone has written prayers and warnings all over the outside wall. The
If
2
I
friends
could
instantly
saw
get a
that
bad
thing,
feeling
I
about this
wouldn't
adventure,
even
but they
continue
swallow their fear
exploring
and
that
decide to press on.
abandoned, you
The
know,
rickety
guys.
main door is
Because that
locked,
is
so they
so
sneak
creepy.
around back. Already, they don't want to be here much longer. They had explored an old clock tower earlier in the day
What?
and were greatly disappointed by a lack of paranormal
Guys,
activity.
this already gives
But
me
they could
some
tell this
chills,
church
guys,
is way different.
chills.
The place looked and felt quite haunted. They go up some wooden steps and enter through the back door. They shine their flashlights deep into the church's main assembly. There's rows and rows of
my
wooden
God.
pews ahead of them. They pass by a podium and notice a piano. Then they head deeper inside. Now they find themselves inside of a small maintenance closet. They close
Yo,
the
I
door
think I
behind
already
them because
saw
they
this
don't want
video
anyone
a long
sneaking up
time
on
ago,
them.
but I don't
It feels like
think
anyone could be
remember,
watching
so, you
them
know.
right now. They see a ladder to the left. Steve is about to climb it
Yeah.
until Jake jokes
I
that a
don't
body is
remember,
going to
but-
fall down on him if he does, so he decides not to. That's when the piano starts to play from outside.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did already see this footage, guys. Like the piano will start playing. As you can, as you can hear right now, the piano is playing by itself.
It's a soft and haunting
Oh my
piano
God,
melody
it's
that
so
fills the
creepy-pasta,
church.
guys. This
Steve
is
and
so
Jake shut off their
creepy-pasta.
flashlights and keep recording. They debate whether or not they should go outside or stay here, where it's semi-safe. They realize that they can't spend the entire night trapped in the broom closet of a haunted church, so they turn their flashlights back on to see who is playing. Sitting at the piano at the far end of the room is a black hunched-over phantom. They scream and shut the door. Jake cries for a bit, then they run away through the back exit. The music stops as soon as they leave the church. They were hoping that the music stopped because it was over, but in reality, it was because the ghost had gotten up from the piano to chase them. They run a good distance
What?
before pausing to look back into the
How
dark
can
scenery.
ghosts even
It seems like
chase
they've
you?
gotten
I mean,
away, but then the
I
ghost
did
finds
some
them and they
watch
run
movies
away
on
screaming.
Story
The camera
or
cuts off as they
movie,
fall back deeper
other
into the
ghosts will
woods.
chase
At least
them,
one of
you
them
know,
survived and uploaded this
to be
video
honest,
onto
it's so,
YouTube, where it's remained for the
like,
past
I'm
10
so
years.
damn
Number
scared,
3,
like,
the
I think I'm
teleporter.
gonna go collapse.
Two girls are alone in their house when one
And-
of them sees something in the doorway. It's the video and you can see it's clearly the upper half of a young girl who is dressed in old-fashioned clothes from another time period. She is floating in midair as she curiously peeks in on the two children to see what they are doing. One of the girls still doesn't see the ghost. She shouts at something that's on television and accidentally startles the ghost away. The girl with the camera follows the ghost as it retreats. The ghost instantly teleports and now stares at them from the top of the steps. The scared girls run out of the house screaming. They stop only for a second to turn around from the street. They can see the ghost girl walking across the left window on the top floor. It vanishes and then suddenly appears on the bottom floor in less than a second. They scream even louder and take off again. Number 2, stay out of the attic. Back in 2008, a man started to notice some strange activities around his house.
I think this is gonna be like a jump scare. I don't know what.
Cowering under the bed, too afraid to come out. One of his dogs would only come out from under the bed for a brief 10 seconds at most before going straight back into hiding. Something was intimidating these large dogs badly. The owner starts to hear banging noises coming from all over his house. He begins to look around. He eventually traces the noise to his attic and goes upstairs with a camera for a closer look. Everything is completely trashed. Boxes are overturned and clothing is scattered everywhere. Something has violently flung all of his personal possessions all around. As soon as he goes back downstairs, he hears another huge bang and runs right back up the steps. He puts the camera down and searches the empty attic for clues. A nearby metal bucket falls over and he runs out of the room before he gets hurt. Another object hits the ground on its own and the camera moves to the right on its own too. The homeowner was too scared to look at the footage. He waited a week before going back upstairs to get his camera. By now, he is understandably quite paranoid. He begins recording everything he does in his home, and it isn't long before he has more paranormal evidence. One day, his radio turns to static and a spirit rushes out the window. Later, someone violently jiggles the doorknob to the door that leads to the attic. The door opens and shuts by itself. The radio goes back to normal soon after. Things look to be going back to normal for a second, but then a paper towel roll suddenly flies up from the table to the couch, and the radio starts making more sounds again. The video recording starts to get fuzzy too, as if a ghost is causing electrical disturbances by passing by. Both of his dogs begin to look in the same spot as if they are following something. Whatever it was, the man was never able to physically catch it on film. He was only able to record its strange and oftentimes violent behaviors.
This is number 1, guys.
This footage comes from somewhere in the Middle East. A group of teenagers are curiously exploring an old school. They go up a flight of steps and pause when they hear a dog whining on the other side of the door. They all run down the steps and gather at the bottom. They're afraid of being attacked by a group of stray dogs now, but they decide to press on and explore the lower areas. The group finds bravery in their numbers and begins to joke and laugh again as they make their way down a long hallway. They open a door and find graffiti on the wall. Other people had been here before them. Maybe this place isn't so bad after all. The teens grow a little more nervous as they continue to poke around. They are laughing less and starting to go silent. Something just isn't right about this section of the building. A YouTuber named Zabin Jaguar translated their comments. He says at this point one of the teens say that their phone shut itself off even though it was fully charged only a moment ago. Another person was able to keep recording, though they probably now wish they hadn't. They enter one classroom in particular and get a dreadful feeling. Suddenly a figure actually appears out of thin air and walks towards them. The ghost is missing his head, but there's somehow no blood. A loud chanting begins as soon as the ghost walks towards them, but this may be prayers from a nearby mosque. Amazingly, the group all appears to have missed the ghost, which explains why they calmly continue to keep exploring. They wouldn't see the apparition until much later, but when they did, they would never forget what was heading straight towards them in that room. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because
there, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you again for watching this today's video, and I hope you enjoy it. So don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to this video. And also I'll be subscribe to my so, okay, thank you. And subscribe right now. Oh, that's muted. So see you on the next YouTube videos. Bye.